Yo, what's up?
How we doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, not bad. Thanks for asking. What you been up to today?
Just been chilling out, honestly. I might record later tonight, but just been relaxing.
Yeah, for sure. You're working on a project right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When are you thinking that's going to be dropping?
Probably within probably the next month or two, I think.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. How long does a project usually take for you?
Oh, it takes a long time. Long time.
Yeah, I know. I follow you on Twitter. I've been following you for a minute. I know that you say, months screaming into a microphone in your room and shit like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Um,
stuff is just it's usually just yeah, it's chaotic. It's very chaotic, but it comes into its own when the time's right. So, yeah,
yeah.
it's a process.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I don't know. Is that kind of like a typical um I guess I don't want to say like mindset, but like, is that kind of like the way that you kind of record? I mean, obviously it might be a little bit, you're just overplaying it a little bit
Oh,
for the tweet, but like is that
oh
typically how you?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It takes like it. Sometimes it could be really grueling at points, and even when like singles, like it just take me a while, like just make something that I think like sticks. Like I think
Mhm.
I like. Something I make that others may like it, but I feel like it takes me a while like make something that like I can like I can like think this is okay. This is okay for me to like release. It takes a long time for that to kind of take into form. That's why like it takes time for me to release stuff. Just it's really hectic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess what kinds of things do, I it sounds like you're kind of picky with, what you want to put out, like you said,
Right.
people might like it no matter what, but so like what kinds of things usually, do you see where you're just like this is not something I want to put out?
When things get like a bit like I start to get repetitive, sort of like kind of attack the same point
Mhm.
over a song. Same like lyrics each verse. Just something like, or I'd make the same song that I made like a month ago or two. It just kind of gets redundant. I'm just like, I don't want to. I just like toss it aside and incomplete, or like I throw it in somewhere. Like I'll finish it later. I'm just kind of just go back to the drawing board. It's like just my main gripe is being just redundant. I think just trying to like get as far away as from that thinking, that whole thinking of just like attacking the same thing over again. I want to do something different. So like whenever things start to get like really like old and like repetitive, I immediately just drop it and like move on to a different idea.
Yeah, is that difficult? I know, like for me, it's I'll have or stuff sitting on my computer for months on end before I'm just like whatever, like throw it out. So like, is it difficult to
Yeah,
throw something out like that?
yeah, very like especially like when I'm working on an album, there have been these ideas where in my head I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. But like it just ends up like I can't come up with lyrics for it. I can't find a good melody. Can't, I can't really like evolve the idea into a song. I'm just like, okay, fuck it, I'll throw it away, and it'll be really hard for me to do that. So yeah, definitely, for
Yeah,
sure. It's like, yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And then so where you try not to do the same thing over and over again. I definitely get that. Where does a lot of your inspiration come when you're working on an album? Or like, what kinds of themes do you try to put together when you're trying to put together a project?
um, I know for the last one, Recluse, I wanted to
Yeah,
just like, I kind of wanted to just like make something really like darker, like a darker side of like what I used to do. But I didn't feel like I did tackle that. Like I think I achieved that, but not in the way I wanted to. So like very recently, I've been looking at a lot of like really like gothic or like Renaissance type thing, like just like really like dark age type themes, or like like I look at images of like haunted houses and shit like that. Just like these really like polarizing buildings that kind of give me ideas for lyrics. Like it's not. I've been reading a lot of dark poetry as well recently, just to freshen up my lyrics. Just a lot of like old, really old, sort of civilization. Like just seeing those like places where they were, at that time. It just
yeah,
looks really dark and daunting. It's just like
yeah,
and I
yeah,
get a lot of inspiration from that. A
yeah.
lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that I did some deep diving. I've been following you on Twitter forever, and I remember seeing this tweet a while ago, but I found it again. Someone said that I think someone on Twitter was saying that like your lyrics are like Shakespeare lyrics and things like that. So when you say that you read like dark poetry and things like that, who are some of your some of the main people you look at for your poetry that you get inspiration from?
So I read so much to the point where I think my favorite. Let me find it right now. I think my favorite like I went I started like at the really the entry trying to get into poetry because I never read poetry since I was a kid. So like I went from the intro of like Edgar Allan Poe, just the simple shit, and then I
Yeah,
went like deep. I went like reading a bunch of like these really weird poems, like one from what's her name, Karina Alves Gulias. There's this poem called Forgetfulness. I read it for like 10 times in a row. And just like I think it had a line that said, if we could only paint dice to wait on the windowsill, wait for a guest, wait for a moment of for pride. That's one of my favorite poems. I have it saved in my computer. I just literally typed it up right now. And
yeah,
it's like that, like it could be so like dark, but so elegant at the same time. That's why like I try to like put that in my music, make things like it could be dark and gloomy, but have it be beautiful at the same time. Something like very like, angelic like, So
yeah,
like yeah,
yeah,
that's like one of my
absolutely.
favorite poems I've had for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Where do you find some of these artists? Because I mean, I not that I've really like, even put any like effort into it, but like, I can't even imagine like where you'd even begin to just like find like lists of old poetry and things like that to kind of go
I
through.
I I either like I go on YouTube and listen to them, or I go on Google, just type up anything, any type of like poetry. I sink it in, I write it down, I save like pictures of them. I just like read them when I'm
Yeah,
like trying to find out for lyrics. So like anything like that, just like I try to like absorb everything, as I can. So it's really the internet that I find a lot of these things. I want to get into like collecting actual poetry books, like the ones they sell at the stores, like the bunch of collection of them. But yeah, we'll get into that later once I have like enough time for that. But yeah, I normally like go on the internet and find a bunch of them and
yeah.
just absorb it everything I can.
Do you think you might put out something kind of like that, like a short poetry book of maybe poems you might
Someday,
write
I think.
independent?
Yeah, I think that would be really cool someday. I
Yeah,
feel like I'm still trying to master my songwriting. I feel like once I get like to the point where I'm really comfortable with my lyrics and like what I say, I feel like that would definitely be a big possibility to happen. Me putting out my own poetry thing, that'll be really cool. I'd love to do that one day for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Um, I don't know what, like, just like kind of talking about this, and then like I think about like what I see from you on Twitter and things like that. You seem like this is like a very kind of outgoing, just kind of funny, I guess, kind of not to overuse this term, but like kind of memey guy. Like you just like post a lot of
Yeah.
funny shit on Twitter. So like,
Oh
but
yeah.
then at the same time, you're also the kind of guy who I'm reading Edgar Allan Poe and like dark poetry and things like that. So like,
Yeah. I think yeah, yeah, oh, my bad. You go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I think like my Twitter is just it's very contrast. This is like I think it's a because what I think of Twitter is like a place where you can I don't think I think yeah, like I like to read, like I like to have my solitude. I like to be away from like a lot of people, but like I think Twitter is like the perfect place where you can just go and like express yourself. Like if you're feeling a
Yeah,
certain way, if you're like thinking of a stupid joke, I mean, I'm gonna say it.
yeah,
I'm gonna say it. I don't really care about like just like putting on an image. I think your best image is yourself, honestly. So I think me on Twitter like being a bit reckless. I think it's just me expressing my thoughts at that like certain moment. So like whenever like people are like, oh, your Twitter's really funny, it's really reckless, I just like kind of like it's just me being me, or a part of me, I guess. It's just that, yeah, for sure.
yeah. I mean, I think you just like, at least for me, like I think some of my friends are like this too. You just kind of think of something that like, oh, like this would be kind of funny to put out there, and you just like shit it
Right.
out and just like see what the world thinks of it.
Exactly. It's just it's just like a perfect place to see like people's reactions of certain things. It's really, I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Kind of along that same line of Twitter. I mean, I've been following you for a minute, and then I've also been following Chris Ice Out Omnitrix, and then Hubert as well. So
Right.
like, how did you like start? Because I've seen you guys have like little interactions here and there on Twitter. Like, how I guess how close are you guys? Like, do you guys talk consistently, or was it just kind of like a one time thing where Chris was kind of checking you out and tweeted some shit? Like, what's that
Yeah,
been kind of like?
I know me and Chris. I think I forget how me and him became like mutuals. I think we're, I don't like talk to him personally like that much. I mean, me and him got on Discord and played a few games and stuff like that, like play
Yeah.
CS:GO or some shit like that.
Hmm.
Like we usually like all of our interactions were on the TL. We were just like kind of just poke fun at each other.
Yeah.
He's a really cool guy. I like him. Really nice guy. Same
Yeah.
thing with Josh. I don't interact with Josh as much, but he's a really cool guy too. It's mostly just on like the TL, but if I had a chance, I'm pretty sure we'd be really good friends if I, kind of like if I ever had the chance to meet them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. How did
yeah.
you guys meet? Was it just like one of them was checking out your music, and or was it
I
like you
think
tweeted them something?
I think it was a while ago. I think became mutuals with them. I think it was like I think I tweeted something, and then I'm pretty sure like Chris probably like saw my music and like that and thought it was cool. And like I remember being mutuals with Josh for a while too. I think like what last year. Yeah, it's just like a mutual Twitter thing. They see your tweets. If that was funny, they follow you and you follow you back. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that, or I've been seeing that like Chris has been putting out his own music. What do you think about that?
I think it's pretty cool. I think
Yeah.
he's really good. Way better than I would have expected to. I think I like his voice when he does that really like dark thing he does with his voice on the
Yeah.
drill beats. I think that's really cool. So yeah, I hope he does well with that too because it seems to be fun for him. So yeah, I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to continue like really pursuing that? Because I feel like,
I hope he does. I
yeah.
know he's a busy guy because I know he has a job and stuff like that. But I hope he
Hmm.
does like still do music because I think it's a really cool thing he's doing with that. So
Yeah.
for sure.
Is there a way for those guys to like monetize what because like they have, such good engagement. I feel like so many followers, like there's gotta be a way
Right.
for them to make money off it. Like, do you know if there's
I
any way that they could
know
do that?
I know Josh does merch. I know he does merch and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I know I forget. I think Chris. I don't know. I don't. I think I imagine Chris did merch. It'll be do
Yeah.
really good too. Yeah, but if say Chris like music, gets even bigger, bigger and bigger. I'm pretty sure he can monetize that as well. So yeah, I think those guys can definitely make their money off of that too. So for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Kind of on that track of monetizing. So obviously, like SoundCloud for a while was like the big thing. Like, everyone who
Right.
was kind of quote unquote underground, throw their stuff up on SoundCloud, build their audience there. But now it's a lot more people using different, what was it American something, American United to like put their stuff up there, or DistroKid.
Right.
What do you think? Like, are you like, do you think that like SoundCloud is going to be kind of not the thing anymore, and everyone's going to go to Spotify? Like, what are your kind
I
of thoughts on
think
that?
I don't think SoundCloud's gonna die necessarily. I think
Nah.
there's just gonna be more. There's gonna be more options. I think and with Spotify and the playlisting, I think that I gave everybody like a lot more options. Like, hey, I can just make my Spotify a lot bigger and
Yeah.
leave my SoundCloud alone. I can make money off of here instead. It's just you get to pick where like where you get more engagement from. Like say I might not get crazy engagement on SoundCloud, but say I get like 100,000 monthly listens on Spotify for per se, and you kind of just focus on that if you want to at first, grow that and then go to the next thing. So I feel like it's just been a lot more options for people, opening up to get bigger and make their money off of their music or
Yeah.
express their art. Yeah, so
Yeah. So as someone who kind of, you have a pretty big following, you've had a big following on SoundCloud. It sounds like you're doing pretty well on Spotify as well. Where do you kind of see the most opportunity? Who's kind of paying out the best for the plays that you do get, or that you've seen at least?
I think Spotify is like I think they're the way they pay out artists is a lot better than SoundCloud for sure. I think right at the moment, and the way like the algorithm, the way they have access to like Spotify for artists and stuff like that. I think that's really important to have access to all that stuff at like the palm of your hand. And like while SoundCloud's still working on a lot of their things with like their algorithm, their in where you can see your engagements. I think right now Spotify has like a lot of those tools for artists to like see all those things about their how they're doing. So I think that's a lot more important.
Yeah. Plus, there's so many more people using Spotify. Someone brought up a
Right.
really good point. I think like a day or two. I think I was talking to my friend or today actually, and he made a good point. What was it? That people like, if you're really gonna try to build an audience on SoundCloud, like you need to get people to have accounts. Like you can't follow
Right.
someone if you don't have an account on SoundCloud. And a lot of people just like they click the link, play it on their phone, and they're just user
And then
one 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 zero 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 something like that, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. And it's like that's why like it's important to as an artist to like make sure your music is everywhere, like on every single platform.
Yep.
Because the average person is gonna have a Spotify account, free or premium. They're gonna be able to listen to it. They're gonna be added to their playlist and stuff like that. And listen, stream it. While like say I have a Twitter account, I post my SoundCloud link. Someone doesn't have a SoundCloud, they're just gonna click the link and just like you said, just like click the link and go. It's
Yeah.
like it's just more accessible to everybody to have a Spotify. So I think it's why it's important to have your hands in every single jar, so it make sure everything's covered.
Yeah.
So yeah.
SoundCloud's kind of, I don't know, it's been kind of pissing me off lately just with all the ads like they've thrown on there. I feel like
Oh
it was just
yeah.
like gradual, like it's like every two songs, it's like it's another Spotify ad or a
I
SoundCloud
agree.
ad.
Yeah.
Like,
It's really it's annoying. I hope they fix it. Like it's really tedious. A lot of the things they need to fix. But yeah. Hopefully they do that soon.
yeah. So kind of along that same route then, I guess have you done anything else to kind of monetize yourself besides just being on Spotify, being on SoundCloud? Have you done merch? Have you done anything kind of like along that route?
I remember very little time after Recluse. I was supposed to do a merch drop, but I canceled it because things didn't work out. But um very soon, I think after the album's released, like a very little after, I know me and my friend Jake 6L, we're doing a merch run. We're gonna do physical copies, so like that, and like try and like you know make some other opportunities through that too. Just like open more pathways. With like merch, because I never done that before. So I think if we did that, that would do well. So yeah,
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
What was
Definitely
his
thinking
name
about doing
again?
that. 6L,
Sixa.
phones.
All
Yeah,
right. Oh, I've heard the name
yeah,
before.
Jake.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. I haven't like looked too deep in. I'm gonna have to like look him up then though.
yeah.
Um,
He's a really really good graphic designer. Has his own clothing brand. Pretty really fucking good.
all right, for sure. What was your merch gonna be? The one that you were gonna drop before it kind of
It
fell
was
through.
supposed it was supposed to be like a really cool like this jester card on, and it was in red and green, but I just fell through and I don't talk to the designer anymore. I don't really we haven't talked, and yeah, I just kind of fell through all that stuff. So
Happens.
yeah, it happens. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guess. Then like kind of after that little riff, I just want to say thank you for coming in, man. Like,
Oh,
we
it's my pleasure, for sure.
yeah, no, like honestly, like I had it was literally yesterday. I was just sitting there. I was like, I need to like get some more interviews in here, and like I saw your name on the list, sent out a bunch of interviews, and you were one of the first people. You responded in like 10 minutes, and you said, hey, let's do it tomorrow. So no, I just want to say
Yeah.
how much I appreciate that, man. Like I've been
Oh,
following you
of
for a
course,
minute. I
dude.
really appreciated it.
It's my pleasure for real. I love doing stuff like this, so I love to come on anytime. So yeah, this is really cool. I
Yeah,
fuck with this.
awesome. Thank you, man. Well, then to kind of, that was very informative, covered a lot of the questions I had, but then kind of rounding around to I guess the top of my list then. If you could just tell me the story of, how you got to where you are, how you ended up on the other end of a mic for me. Yeah, if you could just do that, that'd be great.
I don't know. Okay, it was because it's very hazy. Um,
Yeah.
I remember when I first recorded music. I want to say it was 2016, and I was like, I have my what blue snowball, and I was shit at making beats. I was like,
Yeah.
wanted to try something out. I just started. I made a few songs like that, and I just stopped recording vocals. I just wanted to focus on making beats, and I did that for a while. People just knew me as a producer, kind of grind my way up, try and like get placements and stuff like that. It's
Really?
just, yeah, it was it's like what 3 years I want to say of me being just a solo as a producer,
Hmm.
and I think I want to say it was May of 2018 where I just like I want to try this again. I want to try being a vocalist again. And I guess that time it just worked.
Yeah.
That was that time I was just making, a lot of just rap songs, simple rap songs like, that everybody else would make, And then
Yeah.
over time it just grew and grew. So at that time I was like on Twitter being this, this really obnoxious, kind of an asshole,
Yeah.
kind of terrorizing people. And, people knew me of that. But at the same time, I was trying to like push, my music to these new followers I've gained through harassing people, I guess. And 2 years go by, here we are,
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
still going. So yeah, I think that's like the main start of it all. That's really boosted my career. It's like not something I'm like, completely proud of, but like like people still post like some of those old tweets about, me saying something really like what was it? You'll regret being my enemy or something like that, just like, but
Yeah.
like I think, that thing those are just it's just things are just meant to happen, I guess. I
Yeah.
think everybody has their own path of like getting to like a point where they're able to make something shake. And I think that was just mine,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
You live and you learn. I mean, I don't know if you learned
exactly.
because you got a shit ton of exposure from it, so maybe you didn't learn.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a lot of like different I think we just a lot of people just have their own like just their different ways of getting to that place. And I think mine was a very weird way because very very rarely does that happen where like where um like me being a bedroom producer, like I just didn't have the love for it anymore. I just felt like I was always like struggling. I was always like DMing a bunch of rappers like, hey, you hop on my beat, you want to hop my beat. I'm sending out beats out, emails to emails. I think just like something just clicked for me. I was like, I don't need to do this anymore. I want to
Yeah.
like I want to be the rapper. I want to be the guy asking for beats. I want to be the guy with a full email list, stuff like that. I want to be a guy putting out a project. I just want
Yeah.
to be on the. I want to know what the flip side felt like, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Definitely.
really, yeah, that's
How
definitely it.
how did you because I had no idea that you were a producer at first. So how did you first get into producing then?
I want to say I think I got into producing like junior or senior year of high school. Think I was think it was the second semester where I really like kind of like focused in on it and try to get really good at it because I looked up to a bunch of producers like White Armor, Good, people like Shlomo, stuff like that. I wanted to make something like that they were making,
Yeah.
and I tried my hardest to like just like try and like copy them or something like that. This is before I got in the SoundCloud scene. It's just I was just listening to like shit like Young Lean or Bones or Blade and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like um I think when I found SoundCloud, I just kind of it just like shifted my whole entire perspective on it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this the wrong way."
Yeah.
It's like this is like whenever you go on. It's like back then when you're going to SoundCloud, you hear a bunch of these like really dark beats. You hear
Yeah.
like funk flips, stuff like that,
Yeah.
and all this electronic music. I'm like, "Whoa, I want to do that too." And
Yeah.
then that kind of like made its way into like me working with other producers on like collab and stuff like that. And you know I think that time, as bad as I missed that time the most because I feel like I had the most fun. I didn't worry about like working with artists, stuff like that. I just kind of just posting stuff on my page,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
yeah. And I think that turned in, when I started to get decent at making beats, so actually like working with partially big artists, stuff like that. I think that's when you start to see like a competitive competition between other producers, like to get like, oh, I got this placement. What do you got? Oh, I got
Yeah.
this. Oh, I got this. I think that's when like it kind of turned me off. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this is kind of getting a bit hectic, and I think that's when I kind of like just turned off to like just making beats. I was just remember being really depressed about it, just really like really down bad about being a
Mm-hmm.
producer. I just didn't feel like doing it anymore. So I think that was like the end of it. But I remember just it was a crazy journey being a producer. That's what I remember. It's bits and pieces, but yeah, yeah.
Wow. So is I didn't even know it was a thing. So like, do producers really like kind of like get after it with that? Like, oh, I have this person, and you don't have this person, like that kind of thing.
It's more of like it's in general. You see a lot within like the underground, like underground scene. It gets
Yeah.
really toxic, and
Yeah.
people see things as like in competition instead of it being like everybody people just expressing their art. People just see as a competition, just like like a a piss race or something like that. Like there's just
Yeah.
like, oh, I got this way before you got that. It's just like people should just focus on expressing what they feel into the music instead of like looking at the stats or like looking at your following, look at your engagement, stuff like that. I think
Yeah.
like it should be what's inside of like what you're making, what's inside of the pudding instead of all the superficial stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like if you're put, you could have big features and shit, but like if someone else is like making songs that like may or may not be making or like if some artist takes like someone's beat and like the beat kind of overshadows the artist, like that, there's something to be said about that. I feel like as well, like and not just
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
it's not just oh I have like I'm sorry, but the first name I think of is Lil Tecca, but like I don't know why I thought about that. But like, that's the first name I think of. I don't know why, but like you can have Lil Tecca, but if like you have some other guy and like you're just like completely overshadowing people, like this beat is really good. Like not the song is good, but like the
Yeah.
beat is good. Like there's something to be
You
said
hear
about
that a
that.
lot. Yeah, you hear that a lot with
Oh
like a
yeah,
lot. Yeah, it's just like you hear like, and I think that shows like how talented a producer can be. Like if people are talking about your beat more than, than the person that's on the beat, I think that should tell you something that like, hey, you're something special.
yeah,
So
or
yeah,
like
I definitely agree with that
yeah,
for
or like some
sure.
kid like just like gets like thousands of plays on a song that when he usually like averages like maybe like 1,000, but he's getting like 10,000 on this song. It's like his verse isn't
Right.
good, but like your beat like kind of
You're
fucking made
that's
that
that
shit. Like
yeah, that's what like drew people in, like,
yeah,
that's what made it. Yeah, exactly. And I love seeing stuff like that. And it kind of makes me and that will really draw me into a producer. Like I'm like, oh, that kind of made me like want to like root for a producer. Like I'm seeing like you produce songs for someone and like they're talking about your beat. I want to see what's up. I want to see like, hey, what's this beat about?
yeah. He's
It
doing
draws me in.
this guy's doing triplet flow the whole entire song, but like the beat was like
The beat sounds magnificent. Yeah, it's just like it's just like it's crazy. I love
yeah.
that shit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So did you ever get any like I guess not big, but like notable placements while you were a producer?
I know by the time I just kind of by the time I wrapped up my producing, I know I had a few songs with Ron So Cold before I
Oh
kind of
really?
just like yeah, and I before I just like kind of just hung it up and like focused on my vocals. I know I had some unreleased stuff with others, but I don't remember at the time. Just like, but yeah, I think that's the one. That's like the last one I really enjoyed. Though I enjoyed working with him at that
Yeah.
time. It's just a lot really nostalgic of like the 2018 scene. Like everybody rapping on the fast beats, 160 BPM shit.
Yeah.
That stuff. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was like my last like the last one I think is notable. I think it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Before I kind of just, went away from that scene and in the whole. But yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. So then kind of following up on that. So you started, you're doing the producer thing for a while. Then you're
right,
like, oh, I want to be, I want to be a vocalist. I want to be doing like the rap shit.
right.
So I guess kind of, so what was, when did you kind of know that, or I guess what song kind of like made you realize like, hey, like I know what I'm doing here. Whether it be like, oh, like you found your sound on this song, or maybe like you
Right.
posted this song, got a shit ton of views. Like, what song was that for you?
It's funny because I would say like of course my song "Run" was like when I was like, whoa,
So
what
good.
the
It was
fuck?
so good. That was such a good
Why?
song.
I was just like, oh, this has 100K, but like,
Yeah.
and that was a special moment for me because I never did that before in my entire like life. So it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is cool, But I think the moment where I was like, okay, I think I found something here. I think I'm actually tapping into something. I think it wasn't until like I want to say after Recluse, because if like anybody listened to me, they know like I shifted through a lot of like different sounds
Mm-hmm.
through that amount of time. Like I go from the rap to the really slow, almost like weekendy, like really dark, type thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
I jump in and go to an alternative song with drums, like organic drums and like guitars and stuff like that. It's very I just didn't know what the hell I wanted to make. It was
Yeah.
just it's very weird. And I think I didn't really like get out of that until like very recently, where I'm like, okay, I know what I want to make here. Like, and still even now, I'm just like kind of very curious of what I could make. I'm still very
Mm-hmm.
curious of like what's the threshold? Like what can't I do right now? I think
Mm-hmm.
so. I definitely think like a song like Skin or something like that. I think I was like, okay, I want to make weird stuff now. I want to just like do this. This is where I feel the most comfortable. But
Mm-hmm.
like I think the moment where I felt like, oh, I could do this. Like this is I could do something here with this. I think it was Run. It was
Yeah.
definitely Run
Yeah, absolutely. No, that
for
was a
sure.
great song. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and ask this because I know you had the anime Poppy remix for a while, and that was the first
Right.
version of the song I heard.
Right.
I heard some like shit about what happened. Do you know like kind of the full story of what happened to him, or like are you
I
comfortable
don't know,
talking?
but I don't know, but like as soon as I heard of it, I was just like, no, I can't fuck with that guy anymore.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
very
I
smart.
can't. Yeah, I just kind of cut that off and just
Yeah,
went my own way because
definitely.
I don't play with stuff like that. Still, I
No,
just like yeah, I just
no,
dipped out.
no. Like if it had been, I don't know, like I know like Lil Tracy has accusations and things like that. It's like a little bit
Right.
different, but like when like the man like deletes his entire SoundCloud and like all of his social media, like something's up.
It's kind of like what's the word? It's like it's self-incriminating. It's just
Hmm.
like yeah, I'm gonna kind of just cut myself off here.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
No, very, very smart decision. Um, so and then just on kind of some of your other collabs, just some of my favorite collabs personally. The Tommy Ice collab, "Stuck Up," one of my favorite songs ever, I think.
Yeah.
How did that come together?
Okay. Yeah. This was like this is like a few months or a couple months of me just starting rapping on my main account. So I think I knew Caster, yeah, Tommy, but I knew him as Young
Faster.
Caster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think him and Kevin Cosby were like in a room or something like that. I think they linked up and they DM me on Twitter. Um,
Wow.
I think I had a hella sketchy beat. I copped right.
Oh yeah. No, that it was such a good beat too.
I copped it, and I think I showed Caster the beat. He was like, "Yo, let's make it open on that and send it to me." I'm like, "All right, bet." I just recorded the hook in like 2 minutes, and I emailed it to him, and I think Kazi mixed it, and then boom, he was sending it back to me. I was like, "Oh, that's a song,"
Yeah.
well, and it did the numbers that it did.
Yeah.
It's a really fun song. I still go back and listen to it every now and then
Oh
because
yeah.
it
It's so
reminds me
good.
of like really old times. Everything was like just a lot easier. Everybody was friends with each other. Everybody was cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like just really nostalgic. I think yeah. I still really enjoy that song. It's really fun. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
do you still talk to those guys at all?
Uh, Bits and pieces every now and then. Very
Yeah.
rare. But I know both of them are busy guys, and I'm
Oh
busy
yeah.
too. So like I know, I think I know Kazi's working on his album. I know Tommy's just works on this stuff too,
He's just
and
grinding.
yeah, just very grinding, doing their thing. And
I don't know.
I hope the best for them.
Yeah, I don't know if you like have any like I don't know confirmation on this. I remember what was it the Young Gravy's Alley Oop music video. Because
Right.
I know like I had seen like Instagram videos of Tommy Ice hanging out with Young Gravy and shit like
For
that.
Gravy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's in that video at the end. I'm pretty sure if you like,
Honestly, he probably is. I
no,
wouldn't doubt
I'm
it.
almost positive. Like at the very end when they're like, it's like the whole group of them in, like the driveway or whatever. I was like looking at it, like look over, it's like that's fucking Tommy Ice. Like that he's with Young Gravy. That's insane.
It's just like, I think he produced a song for Gravy, didn't he?
Did he? Hold on.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna do a Google search.
I'm pretty sure
Gravy.
he produced it.
Would he be producing under Young Caster or Tommy Ice? Do you think?
Probably Young Caster, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Young Gravy and BB No Money Dinner Party produced Young Caster.
Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty
Damn.
sure that was probably Tommy in that video. I
That
wouldn't
is
doubt it.
oh, that is nuts. Wow. Wow. There was one other question I wanted to ask about that. Oh, so were you a fan of well, they used to be something else, but now they're Pretty Boy Click. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was
I think I heard of them. I think it was like at the time where I first came on SoundCloud. I was like, okay, I'm like filling everything out, and I see I see what they're doing. I'm like, oh, that's wild, dude.
Oh yeah,
It's
it was
crazy.
insane. It was
funny. It was funny.
It really
it
was.
funny. Yeah.
Like,
And it's cool that they evolved into like what they're doing now. But yeah, that was I thought that was pretty funny at that time. I was like, wow, that's that's like you couldn't not laugh at that stuff.
oh, it was ridiculous. Yeah. Like just to think, because you think of like Kevin Cosby now, like his voice is so deep, but like they must have pitched it up so much just to get him to sound like that on some of these songs.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like it's at a time where like a lot of people were just like having fun with their music, and it's just like just to be able to see like where like every artist that of that old what they used to do and to what they do now, it's like whoa, like that just shows like how there's no bounds with doing like how people can evolve within the music. I think that was pretty. Yeah, that was a fun time. From what I remember.
Oh yeah, that was wild. I remember, me and my friends, we were pretty into the scene at that time. We found them, and it was all just really just fun to listen to. Like what you're saying, it was just hilarious.
It was very just like I can't even describe it. It was just like wow, it was kind of like just like shock value.
Yeah,
it's funny. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. It was obviously Kevin's doing the best, but I think I did like a quick Google search, and like Wi-Fi, Lil 4, all those guys, like they're doing pretty decent. Like they've dropped some pretty good songs from then.
Yeah, I know Lil 4 makes really beautiful beats too. I know he's he's doing really well with his vocal stuff too. I know I listened to his recent EP the other day. I thought it was really cool, and they're doing good stuff still, which is
that's
really
good to hear. Very good to hear, actually. So then the next collab I wanted to ask you about was the David Shoddy collab. I literally had just gotten onto the man probably like a month or two prior before the song dropped, before I found the song. I fucked up. Yeah. How did that all come together?
That was the most spontaneous collab I think I've ever done with anybody. It was just like, I think I forgot if I DM'd him or he DM'd me. It was like, yo, let's make a song. I'm like, okay, cool. I had a beat and I had a beat at an FLP. I sent him and he's like, okay, let me finish the beat. He finished the beat with the open, send it back to me. I recorded it within like 10 minutes, send it back to him. Like, oh, we did a song. We're done. And that was it. And there you go. That was the story of that song. It was very quick. I think that was the quickest person I've ever worked with. I think, I don't think, it was just, he works. He records, he works. Like, I admire that because I can't do that quick. I'm very like slow with my recording process. I'm very like, and then, but like, I think that stuff kind of inspires me to make music more faster because he recorded that thing like very quickly, like very, like the hook, verse, and everything. I was like, whoa, holy shit. Okay, let me fucking record this shit faster. So yeah, that was a really cool collab. That was fun. I hope that I can work with him very soon.
Yeah,
but, I've been busy with my album, so maybe after I'm done, I can probably hit him up one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Kind of along that line then. So what's your kind of opinion of the whole hyperpop / glitchcore rap, if you want to call it that? Like, what's your opinion on all that? What do you think?
See, I haven't been like paying the most attention to like,
Mm-hmm.
that scene because I've been trying I haven't even been listening to SoundCloud like that much like in the past, I want to say 5 months because I just been trying to get into my head,
Mm-hmm.
what this sound of the album is gonna be like. But from my here it's everything's like huge. Everything I heard a few hyperpop. I thought they're doing something really cool, like with like
Yeah.
that kind of PC music type sound. I think it's cool. I think it's like something that's it's fresh, it's new,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
yeah. But I just haven't been paying that much attention to it because I just been in my own world for like for the longest time. So probably when I'm like able to have more time, I probably tune in a lot more. But I'm just like everything else. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm assuming that's pretty typical for you when you're putting together an album. Is you just kind of shut yourself
Oh
off and
yeah,
focus.
oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
So
I'll go on Twitter and like just like say some stupid shit, like I'm over here struggling recording this thing. Oh my god, I'm recording guitars and I'll
recording
go
butt
back to
ass
fucking
naked.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just go back to my old world and just ignore everything again. But yeah.
Oh, there was something I was gonna ask you related to Twitter. Oh, let me try to find it real quick. There it is. I don't know what I was gonna ask, but what were you saying? I'm sorry. I apologize. I just got completely
Oh, you're
derailed.
good. You're good, dude.
No, so yeah, you kind of just like do your own thing. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. So you kind of cut yourself off. You occasionally shit post on Twitter a little bit, just kind of like
Right.
get the word out there that you might be working on something. So where do you draw your
Right.
inspiration? Is it like you draw your inspiration right as you kind of cut yourself off, or like are there other sources that you find? I know you said like old buildings and things like that. Like
Yeah.
Gothic buildings and
See,
things like that.
I think other than like me looking like pictures of old buildings and stuff like that to give me
Hmm.
like a atmospheric type of idea of where I want to take something.
Hmm.
I usually binge listen to an artist like to the highest degree. Like I know I think due to that, a bunch of my Twitter followers think know I'm obsessed with Chelsea Wolfe and her music. I've listened to her for like I think since the new year started. I've just been binge listening to her, trying like absorbing like ideas that she came up with, like with like the way she uses textures and like the way she's like able to like convey a dark theme.
Hmm.
Like I'll listen to depth tone for the next like 3 months, just trying to like sync off any like lyrical content, like I can you know absorb off of and like see if I can get any ideas and be inspired by that,
Yeah.
and I've been really getting a lot of inspiration from those two in particular. And I'll just sift through music, just like a bunch of music. Like I'll go through my Spotify Discover Weekly, just like listen to it, like, like in bed and like lights off, nothing, just listening to music all day. And, I've been trying to like sample dig. I think sample digging has got me like inspired me a lot to like come up with a lot of these different like sounds. I think just sipping just through any type of music, noise, fucking corridos. I love corridos music. I love everything like just like any type of music that I can like seek me in the littlest bit. I'll just kind of consume it. I want to
Yeah.
just like it kind of it gets you like not only does it give you ideas for your music, but it just
Yeah.
it kind of broadens your horizon. I
Yeah.
think
Absolutely.
listening to like as much music as you can, that kind of opens your mind to everything else. So I do
Yeah.
that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I think in this age where SoundCloud rap kind of had its moment, it had its day. Whether you want to count that as
Right.
kind of the more SoundCloudy sound, or maybe like more like kind of the more mainstream rap, like Drake, Migos, and things like
Right.
that. Like it's having its day right now, but really, like I feel like the wave right now is going to be the kind of that indie pop. I don't know if you know about Churchill, but he's one of my friends and close friends. But
I've
like,
heard of him.
yeah, no, he super super good guy, super nice kid. But he was doing the SoundCloud rap for a really long time, and I've talked to him. I have an interview with him ready to go. And he said,
Right.
I'm kind of done with that. I want to go more towards the indie pop, kind of lane.
See, like,
that,
yeah, it happens like that. A lot of
yeah,
people just like, kind of get bored of it, or they just like, just feel like they want to express themselves through something else.
hmm
Because like for me, I feel like just rapping, that it didn't fill my my needs as a creator. I just felt like it was too easy.
yeah,
I think it's just like a kind of like, I feel like a cop out for a while. It's just like I can just make these songs all fucking day if I wanted to.
yeah.
you know
Oh
so
yeah,
yeah, I definitely like support, like like artists, like just like peeking out their horizon, going to a different place,
yeah,
trying to like do something different. So yeah, that's really cool.
yeah.
That
It almost feels like I don't want to say like definitely, but like it kind of feels like maybe doing the SoundCloud rap scene a little bit. It's almost like a test, or not like a litmus test, just see like, all right, like can you do this? Can you make the SoundCloud rap?
right,
If you can do this, then you can probably kind of find your
probably
way into
do
other
this.
genres.
Exactly.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. So,
And yeah.
oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, for sure. I was
Yeah,
agreeing with you.
for sure. And kind of along that line, then too. I feel like I've gotten the sense, maybe it's from Twitter because that's kind of where I see the most interaction from you,
Yeah.
that you're kind of quote unquote done with kind of the general rap stuff, that you might be going to something
Right.
else. Am I correct on that?
You're 100% correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
where do you see things going from here?
It's I can't describe it.
That's good. No, that's good. Like no, like literally,
Yeah,
that's a good thing to hear.
it's just like I want to just go into like a place where like it's just you know I don't know if, like people probably would like try and genre the new album. I don't know what they genre it at, what they class it as.
hmm
I see it as a lot of like really like a lot of doom, a lot of like just you know it's really synthy, really synthy. There's a
hmm
lot of guitars, and it's like I don't know where I class that. It's just so much going on. So yeah, I don't know. It's I don't even want to even say like post rock either. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff going on with it.
Yeah.
But I can perfectly say like it's something different. It's something like it's unlike anything I've ever done before. And I
Yeah.
think I'm really proud of that fact that it's something that
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really like a flip of just a different coin that
Yeah.
so yeah, it's something really special. I think so, and I hope others think the same thing
I
about it.
mean, it sounds like you're spending, multiple months on it. You're taking your time, making sure, throwing out songs that, maybe everyone would love, but like, you're like, hey, this is not what I want on here. Like,
Exactly.
you're taking that time, you're
Yeah.
taking that care. Absolutely.
Right.
So I kind of have two questions. And so how did you kind of get into like I did look up some like different interviews on you. I saw one of your recent ones. I can't remember who did it. But they were asking you kind of about your influences, and I know you said like kind of old school rock, things like that.
Yeah.
How did you get into those influences? How did you find them?
Um, it started when I was a kid, and I think I remember being like the fourth grade, fifth grade, and I think my dad got me Guitar Hero or something like that for Christmas, my birthday,
Yeah, yeah,
and that was my introduction to rock music. That was
yeah.
it.
No,
I
it's
was
a
like
good
12,
introduction. Absolutely.
and I found like my entry level stuff like
hmm
Nirvana and stuff like that, Jimi Hendrix,
Yeah,
AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, all that yada yada yada.
Nirvana.
That's how Nirvana, all that stuff. And that's how I listen to that stuff a bunch on my MP3 player,
Yeah,
and I think it got me into like me discovering Smashing Pumpkins, stuff like that,
yeah,
and Deftones when I started getting like middle school. And I didn't get into like rap music till like middle school, like literally middle school. I didn't get into like that stuff till like then. I was just enveloped with rock music, and
yeah,
metal, and for the longest time. So I think that was my introduction to like that type of and then I got into like Nine Inch Nails, like a lot of industrial rock stuff like that, and Marilyn Manson,
Mm-hmm.
probably, all that stuff. And for a while, that was just like my main thing until I discovered hip hop, and I was like, oh, let me try this out. Let me see what this is
Yeah,
about too.
absolutely.
And it was like that for a little while. I was like, I'm just kind of listening to rap music, just Tyler the Creator,
Oh yeah.
what Young Thug, Rich Homie Quan, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When that stuff was popping at the time. And then I was like, let me. I mean, and it was fun. I love still like rap music, but I feel like I'm most comfortable with like rock music, alternative, metal, all that stuff. I feel like that's like where my heart is with music, because I think I spent the most time with with those genres. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I
Yeah. No.
think that's where it all started. It was like me being a kid and playing this Guitar Hero for hours and hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
It,
where it definitely started.
it's interesting where your influences come from, because I was, I kind of did something similar with me. I remember I was probably around that same age as you were, like fourth grade or so. And I remember I was just hanging out in like the living room. My dad comes in, he's like, "What is this? Like, what did you do?" And I was like, "What did I do?" And he takes me to my room, and he had bought me like a CD player with like Green Day's American Idiot. And I remember I just
Oh,
fell in love with that. And I was like, this is it. This is the shit right here.
I know. Yeah.
That was such a good album. And then I, kind of followed his influences. He was super into classic rock. So like
Right.
Dire Straits, Genesis, Black
Oh
Sabbath, things
yeah.
like that. So I was a pretty big
Sabbath.
fan.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, no, same thing as you. Like, one of my best friends showed me, I think it was Biggie. He showed me Biggie, and like Jay-Z, and like I remember one of the first hip hop songs I really like listened to was Drop the World with like Lil Wayne, and I was like, oh,
Right.
this is good. Like I like this a lot. And then like
Yeah.
that,
This is
yeah,
cool.
it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
similar things. Like I think I don't know. It's interesting where your first influences can come from, but like I definitely can see where you're coming from with that.
Right. Yeah. It's just like it's just like discovering different like worlds, different like sides of like of music. I feel like
Yeah.
that, and that's what makes music really cool. Just
Oh yeah.
there's different elements, different worlds. Just like there's different elements like water, fire, and stuff like that. There's different elements with music. So much stuff to like just to go through. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes it really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
I feel like you play guitar. Am I correct in that? I feel like I've seen you
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing since I was 12.
All right. What I mean, obviously you were a fan of rock and roll and things like that. Was that kind of the influence
Right.
for I want to try guitar?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm good at Guitar Hero. I want to do the real thing now. So I just begged my dad to get me a guitar. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try the real thing.
Yeah, and no, that and I almost quit a few
Yeah.
times,
No,
but
I quit. I tried and I quit. I was like, I do not want to practice.
it's tough at first. You have to
Yeah.
practice a lot. So yeah, I don't even blame anybody for doing that either. It's just like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I remember like I would be taking lessons and like they'd show up like, did you practice? I'm like, yeah, I definitely practice. And then I would just play like like there's like those little I don't know how to describe it, like you like pluck a string with your finger on it, like I can't remember like what it's called. Like I literally play full songs, just like one like string with like a finger down on it, and just like play that, and they'd be like, all right, so like did you practice the song though? I was like, no, sorry. I didn't feel like it. Sorry.
See, yeah, the lessons. I see. I went for guitar lessons very briefly,
Hmm.
and it didn't work out for me either because it's just I don't know the way that teacher was teaching was very like strict, and like the teacher like didn't like my guitar. I had a bunch of stickers all over it, and just like, oh, you should use a acoustic guitar instead. I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah, frig
you
off.
know, yeah, exactly. And I just kind of just told my dad, get me a chord book, and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I went up, just went up on YouTube and chord books since then, and
Hmm.
that's why I learned. I'm still like I'm decent, but there's still a lot of stuff I'd like to learn. Like a bunch
Hmm.
of different scales, different stuff like that. But that's how you know, that's how I like got a bunch of like my knowledge on guitars were just a bunch of chord books going through chords every day. my dad checking on you. Better be practicing your guitar. Better be doing this, and that. If you're gonna maybe buy a guitar, you're gonna be good at it. I'm like, okay, all right. That was really it.
Yeah, yeah. What is so? Do you talk to your parents at all now, like about kind of what's going on with you in your music stuff?
Oh yeah, they're and I'm grateful because they're really supportive of what I do, and
Yeah,
like they
it's
try and
awesome.
like see what's going on. I'm like, okay, and I try like show them something I'm working on every now and then.
Yeah,
At first, I was really afraid to show them because of the themes I would go through in my music, like things I talk about, and but they're really open to that, and I'm grateful for that because I know some people may not have the same
yeah,
situation like that. So the fact that they care and like they think that what I'm doing is cool, it means a lot. So I think that's a really good thing.
yeah. Absolutely. It's definitely always a positive influence. Just getting that little text from mom saying, "Oh, I liked this last song. Like that was really nice." It's like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. Appeals to all generations.
Yeah, and it say I have a child and they're doing something like what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really cool. I'd love to 100% go right behind them and support them. And
Yeah,
something like this.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's interesting because that's really like kind of what this generation of artists, rappers, whatever you want to call them. If we do end up like having kids and things like that, that's kind of what it's gonna be. When
yeah,
we were young, it was dad like showing you how to strum a couple keys on the guitar, and now it's gonna be like us like teaching our kids like here's how you do the C chord on the keyboard in FL Studio.
yeah, exactly. Or
Yeah,
here's how you put samples into a playlist and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Here's how you record yourself. It's just it evolves every generation into something. I think that's really cool.
What is it? Son, really fruity maxim or what's the oh, really son, fruity sound goodizer? Really? Like this is what you're doing right now? Like
Oh my god, that would be a hilarious conversation to have. I couldn't even imagine that.
are you
Oh my
mastering your
goodness.
drums right now? You're supposed to master the whole song, dumbass. Like
Exactly.
get out of here.
Oh my god.
So are there any other instruments that you play?
I think it's really just guitar.
All
I
right.
want to get into. I want to. I know a few things on piano. A
Mm-hmm.
little here and there, bits and pieces. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to get into like playing strings, like playing violin and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have to do that when I'm free. Try and dip my hands in that water.
That would be.
But yeah,
Would there be a way to like? Obviously, you could obviously hold up the violin up to the microphone and like
the
do that.
mic.
But like,
Yeah,
is there any other way to sample it? Do you know?
I think that's the only way. I think it's just have to be a mic really close to it,
Yeah.
unless they make um, violins or violas with fucking audio
Just
jacks. That would be really cool.
that would be sick. I feel like there's probably something like that, but it's probably like $2,000 or some shit.
Probably yeah, really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I guess another kind of follow up to that is I know that looking at the Recluse album, you have a lot of producer credits on that. So I was just kind of curious, what kind of what were you doing on the producer side of things for that album?
for Recluse or the Unreleased album.
Right, it's Recluse, right? That
Oh,
you have,
Recluse, yeah.
yeah, you have Wild Card and Vision4k, a couple different producer credits. So what were you doing on that
Right.
end?
Me and Wildcard worked a lot on that album. It was a very tedious few months before that thing was finally finished. It was mainly me. It was just me and him texting at like what 4 a.m. in the morning, just being like, hey, I found this sample. Want to do something with it? Like, okay, send it over, and then that's it. We'll do drums on like FaceTime or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I know Ian Khan did a. I think Ian Khan sent me a pack of beats, and I was like, okay, this is the best beat I got back. I'm gonna record on that. I record on that song. It's very like really unorganized. It's like it just happened whenever it happened.
Yeah,
But I think me and Wildcard did something really special on that. Despite
yeah,
me like
absolutely.
not liking that record as much as as I used to when it first came out. I think that album was like showed how much me and him had a mutual understanding creatively with each other. So
Yeah. So
that was
what?
really fun to produce.
Yeah, no, I mean, and obviously, like, I could, you definitely have a theme. You definitely have a certain style with the songs that you make, the beats that you use, things like that. And
Mhm.
honestly, the Vision 4K produced songs. It might be obvious or maybe like yeah, duh, but like yeah, it sounds like a Vision 4K song. Like sounds like
Yeah,
something you would do. Like yeah, it makes
that's
sense.
and I think and like that's why I did a lot of like I stopped being stopped hopping on like more producer songs, try doing things myself because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like only you know exactly what you want.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I get beats from these really good producers, and I'm grateful for them for sending me beats. But like,
Yeah.
there'll be still be small things I'm like looking for. I'm like, and this, I have a song written. I want to do exactly this,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm really glad that I knew how to produce. You know, to a certain level. Still getting better, but I knew like how to make certain sounds, certain things. So I think that's why like Recluse was like a lot of like self-produced stuff for like, Wildcard, because Wildcard, he knew what I wanted exactly too. It was
Mm-hmm.
very, and had I not meet Wildcard, it would just be all produced by Vision 4K.
Yeah.
Because, I don't think, I didn't think a lot of people like could match my crazy, lack of a better word,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so like, I think he was the perfect match for that album because he understood exactly what I wanted to do with that.
Yeah. Definitely. Um, just to make sure, I know I said, when I first messaged you, 30 to an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, it would be the time that we would be talking. Are you okay with going a little bit over? Is that okay with you?
Oh yeah, that's fine with me.
All
That's
right.
perfectly.
No, for sure. I have, sorry, but a lot more questions. I'm just, kind of just like digging deep on whatever we talk about. I just want to make sure
Oh
it's
yeah.
okay with you.
Oh, of course it is. It's all good, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. So how did you meet Wildcard? And then, or yeah, I have another question to follow that up. Like, how who is Wildcard? What role did he play on the beats that that you guys put together?
I met Wildcard whenever we were. There's this producer collective that is it's very chaotic. It was called Hell World. I don't know. It's just
I feel like I've heard that before.
yeah, and there's a bunch of producers in that group, and I met Wildcard in that group, and it dissolved. But I was still really cool with Wildcard. Me and him will text, we'll collab on a beat every now and then. And I think one day I was starting to kind of make some ideas for Recluse, and the only person that I could think of that would be really like cool to collab with on a song. Like it was supposed to be like just one song from the collab with me,
Yeah.
but and I DM'd him and I was like, "Yo, you want to work on this song with me?" I was like, "All right, sure." I think the
Yeah.
song was. Let me find. I was I think the first song we worked on was I think it was Puppet. It was either Puppet or Gave Up,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just like, and he got me a sample. Yeah, it was Puppet. He got me a Beach House sample. Like I flipped the sample. Let's use this, and then we make the song. It was a demo, but we are like, whoa, let's make some more. And then from there, that turned into having a bunch of demos with Wildcard in the album. He
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be like on every single song, but it didn't turn out that way. We had some demos I trashed, I didn't like that much. We had some
Mm-hmm.
demos I just threw away. But yeah, I think that's when me and him started to work the most. It was through Recluse, through like Hell World and through Recluse. I
For
think,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
So what was your role on all these? I know that you did play a little bit of guitar. I know that you do tend to like use a little bit, some guitar samples and things like that. So what was your role on some of these? Like what did you bring to the table as far as like sounds and, loops and melodies and things like that?
It was very back and forth because there will be some songs that I'll sample something, I'll even put drums, and then I'll send to Wildcard. It'll be a totally different beat. I'm like, whoa, okay. He like we'll flip each other's collabs. Like it's very crazy. He'll
Yeah.
send me he'll send me a sample and some drums. I'll turn to something completely fucking different, and it'll be a song. It's
Yeah.
very back and forth, very like answer question answer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's very very cool the way we worked on that thing. So yeah, it's very different. I think that's why it sounded like that. It sounded cool because it was the way we worked. It wasn't just okay. I'm just gonna complete a collab. No, it was like
Yeah.
I'm gonna put come forward with a different approach to what you just gave me. I'm gonna just completely flip on its head, and it's something really different. I think that's why it sounded really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see yourself? I know you're working on this new project right now. It's going to be different than anything else. Are you producing that right now, or are you kind of taking from? No, I don't want to say taking from other people because that sounds like you're not doing it. Like
Yeah,
I know that you're putting in that work, but like, are you using other people for producers? Or are you trying to like kind of make this your kind of your
it's
production?
it's yeah, it's mostly me on the production here,
All right.
and I
Yeah.
would and I would have some personnel instead of like producers. Like I have my friend Katya. She's doing a lot of violin work on the second part of the album,
Really.
and I have a friend who's playing tuba on a song too. It's very weird, very weird, very weird
Yeah.
stuff. And like, but there is I'm working with Fish. I know Fish. Me and him are doing a couple. I know he's makes some really synthy stuff for me on this album, and I'll finish it off. I know John Glacier is doing some stuff for me too
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
but it's really like us, but like on a couple of songs. But like I just want to get some friends in it,
Mm-hmm.
and make it a bit more versatile. But it's mostly, for the most part, it's really me on the production. Whether I'm sampling drums and like distorting them,
Yeah.
guitars, very a lot of synths. I collect a lot of synth sounds. It's
Mm-hmm.
very synthy, and I feel like it's gonna be a lot more focused now that it's really me instead of like me and like the other people working on this project. It's gonna be really focused, like
Mm-hmm.
very cohesive, and that's why I'm really excited for it to be finished because I feel like it captures exactly what my creative mind is at the moment, and I hope I'm really proud of it. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can't wait to hear it. So along that lines of the Glacier, thing, I know that I think John kind of dropped a kind of a tape with a bunch of different collaborations. I know that you were on that one song Army with Sucker Punk. I believe it was Lil Winter, and was it Kevin Kazi too?
It was sketchy. That was
Sketchy.
sketchy.
All right, no, that's my bad. Rest in peace to that man. I'm sorry.
No
I'm
cap,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Sketch. But yeah, no. How did that come together?
I think it's hazy. That was an old song. I think
Mm-hmm.
this one I think this one me and John were becoming friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think he sent me this beat he made, and it was I think it was a collab with Ginseng Chris, and um he said he had Sucker Punk on the song. He said he wanted. It was I think it was at first it's gonna be just me and Sucker Punk on it for the tape, and he was like, "Yo, do your verse." And I think I went. If I remember correctly, I went right after her, and next thing I know, I was last time I heard from the song. It was like, "Okay, cool, thanks." And then next thing I know, I think he got Chris and Sketchy on it. I was like, "Whoa, holy shit, that's
Yeah,
fucking crazy!"
power
You know?
team.
Yeah, it's a super fucking group there. I was
Yeah, it
like,
really
whoa,
was.
yeah, and the beat was crazy. John's talented producer. Shout out to him.
Oh
Great,
yeah.
great guy. Love him to death. So I think that was like the first time I ever worked with John. So I think the fact that like he's doing something different with me now, for this album is really cool thing to think about. So
Yeah,
yeah, that was
absolutely.
just from that to now, what he's turned into is really cool. I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, he kind of
So
came up out of nowhere. I feel like because for me personally, I feel like I had no idea who he was, and then all of a sudden he drops this album with Neela World, right? Is that right?
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
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 Neil World.
yeah, Neela World, and he drops it with them, and like he's all of a sudden he's like a producer with them and things like that, and like just kind of came up
Yeah,
out of nowhere, and he's kind of made a name for himself really quickly.
yeah, and he's going on a tear right now. I'm really proud of him. He's really killing it right now.
Yeah. Would you ever, if you were given the offer, would you hook up with Neela World?
Like being a group,
Yeah.
honestly, they know me as like not really a group guy. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like I have love for those guys, and I have love for like any other collective that I'm friends with. But like
Mm-hmm.
I just like be on my own. I like being like in my own in my own world.
You're a recluse.
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So it's like And like I'm glad like my friends understand that. So like they know like when they like offer that, they're like, yeah, it's okay if you like say no. I'm like, yeah, I'm just me. But yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a throwback question. Because I remember seeing this kind of it. I feel like it became a meme kind of among your fan base for a while bit, but like the whole walk hard in my cup, and I'm never
Yeah.
giving up. Like, how, what was it like to kind of see like just like you saying walk hard in my cup and I'm never giving up, or like even if it's just walk hard in my cup, what was it kind of like to see that kind of turn into a meme and like people were just like kind of throwing it back at you, being like, I think they were just like saying "walk heart in my butt" or some like different things like
Yeah.
that.
It's okay. Like at first it was funny. I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. People are, you see a bunch of people like repeat something that you said is like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I think over time it got really old. I was just like, dude, all right, man. I tweet out something like deadly serious, like I'm
Yeah.
not feeling. I feel like making music today. I want to sleep all day, and like someone replies, "Walk out of my cup." I'm like, oh, all right, dude. Or go do some walk hard, dude. You'll feel good. I'm like, all right, man. All right. I'm gonna get off Twitter for the day. It's just like
Yeah.
it just got really old. I still get it,
Yeah.
but now I don't hate it as much. I just think of it like I just think about it and laugh. Think about 2018, what the year that was, and just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's cute. I just kind of just keep it going. But yeah, it's annoying, but I understand it. I
Yeah.
understand it.
I mean, like it's a really good line. Like walk hard in my cup and I'm never giving. Like, yeah, like
Catchy. I'll give it that.
it really is. Like it's a really good line. I understand. Like, and you said like "Run" was kind of a song that kind of launched you up. So like it kind of makes sense that people were taking that and like running with it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why like over time I kind of just went like I'm not really as mad at it anymore. It's just it's part of my past. It's part of what I used to be. It's part of what I used to talk about in my music. So now it's just like I kind of just look at it and smile and chuckle and just keep it moving.
Yeah, absolutely. I still have a couple more questions for you. Just kind of, I guess, I don't want to say sporadic, but they are kind of sporadic questions. Yeah, a couple more things. I know that I keep mentioning Twitter, but like it's one of the areas where I see that, or I see you like engaging the most, being out there the most.
Right.
Going through your Twitter stream, I saw a lot of Japanese pro wrestling kind of showing up on your So like, yeah, tell me about like how you got into that, why you like it so much, things like that.
Well, I've been a fan of wrestling since I was a kid. A big fan of them. I know for a while I stopped because you kind of just like it's a lot of stuff happening. I just stopped watching that stuff. I think like I want to say like 2 years ago, or like actually more like 4 years ago, I got into like a lot of like old Japanese like pro wrestling, a lot of like classic All Japan, New Japan stuff like that, and I'd watch that. I remember watching that all the fucking time, and just like, whoa, this is really cool. It's like it's more of like a stoic, like instead of like being like big personality, to just stoic, just beat the crap out of each other type thing. So it's like a lot cooler to watch. And I remember just getting into it more and more and more, and now I'm a huge fan of it. And like everybody sees me retweet like a clip of like someone getting suplexed on their fucking neck or something. I love that shit. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I love watching it. So it's one of my favorite things to watch, on my off time when I'm not recording or stuff like that. Or I'm not like writing in my journal, something like that. I just watch, like, put that on the background, just chill out. I think it's like, I don't know. I just like that. Like there's a story going on in the background, like the way they story tell, it's like kind of like, it's almost like a play almost, but instead of it being like really like elegant, it's just full aggression. That's what I like about it. They know how to like work a crowd. They know how to like make a crowd go boo or make a crowd go yay, all that stuff. Destroying each other. I think it's a work of art in and of itself. So I think that's what drew me into it a lot.
Yeah, I remember. I think I saw it on Twitter or YouTube or something like that. Someone made a video about the whole Kenny Omega and his partner. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name.
Cody Ibushi.
Yeah, like how they like came together and then like fell apart and like they were wrestling each other and things like that.
And they came back together. Yeah,
like compared it to kind of like an anime arc in a way. Like
yeah,
in that sense.
It's very similar. It's very similar.
Yeah, and like it really is like it's good storytelling. Like obviously it's fake, but like it's still like good storytelling. Like especially like that, like two guys who were destined to kind of be a team, and they fell apart, and like they came together, and like had to go against each other, things like that. Like it's very
Yeah.
anime esque.
I think that was my that's one of my favorite storylines of that whole entire like of like just Japanese wrestling in general. Like that storyline is very if you follow them for the as long as I did, it's like you see both of them becoming like both of these like they were a tag team early on in their careers, and you see both of them just drift off into like
Mm-hmm.
to their own things. It's just like crazy the way like they're able to tell a story for that long for the course of like what 7 years. It's like whoa, that's really cool. And then I find that stuff really interesting. Just like it's like lore, it's
Oh
really like
yeah,
lore. And you just like look at the hit, like the way they like their body language, the way they look at the way convey what they're feeling into the matches. It's really cool. I think that stuff I just find so much interest into that stuff. I think it's really crazy. So
yeah,
I always do deep dives into like Japanese wrestling matches and like rivalries and stuff like that. I think it's really cool to look through.
yeah. Absolutely. Are
Yeah.
you an anime watcher, or are you a fan of it?
I used to be. I don't know
Mm.
why I stopped. I used to watch a lot of anime, but
Yeah. What
I
were
just
some of your
stopped.
favorites?
I remember being a big fan of Mob Psycho.
That's so good. That
Yeah, it's a good anime. I remember watching Baki too. Watching
yeah,
the
I
old
just started, or I'm like on the second season of that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good. I don't know why I stopped though. I just recently just stopped. I don't know if just stopped having time, like just to engage in like that many seasons of an anime. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
hopefully someday I can like sit down and watch it again. But I've just been everywhere recently, so I've been able to like just kind of sit down somewhere and watch it.
yeah, it really is kind of like a thing. You're just kind of like, oh, I got a couple hours to kill. Like Mob
Yeah,
Psycho, like throw it on. Like, what's he up to?
exactly.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh yeah. So another question I can, or no, back to the Twitter thing. When also going through your Twitter, I saw that I don't know if it's like a big thing or like a big like point you wanted to make, but like I saw that you had like said something at Elevator. I can't remember what they said, but like you would kind of like respond to them and being like, hey, you guys are like you're just like clout chasing. You're just kind of like algorithm hungry shit like that. Like you kind of
Right.
like retweeted them. What are your, I guess, kind of diving deeper into your thoughts if you're cool with that, just kind of seeing like what your actual thoughts on platforms like that are.
I think a lot of like blogs like that just leech off of just people trying to get a name for themselves. Like Elevator, for example. I just thought of it as like it's just a cash grab. Like the way like they make you pay to submit a video, make you pay to
Yeah.
do this, that, do this, do that, do this. It's just like I don't think it's just like a way of of them making money off of struggling artists, and I
Yeah.
don't think that's right. And I see that in like these hip hop commentators making money off of people trying to fucking get their song played live. I'm just like, it's just really lame. And I think that if you really truly cared about that stuff, you see a struggling artist trying to and you have a platform, you're a blog, you're a YouTuber who makes hip hop videos. It's like just cover the fucking, if you like it, cover the fucking song. It's
Yeah.
just I just think like I there's some point in music where like investing yourself is important. Like you say you buy a beat, buy a feature, and
Mm-hmm.
that's good. You're investing in yourself. You're using that to kind of get your name ahead. Using
Mm-hmm.
working with an artist that you like. It has maybe they have a platform. But when it comes to like hip hop publications, it's like and you make your payday off of struggling artists. I think that's
Yeah.
evil almost. It's very villainy. It's very, this is like why, for like anyone who truly cared about that and published music, unpublished, articles about hip hop, they wouldn't be doing something like that. So I
Oh
just think
yeah.
that's bogus for
Like
the most part.
or even like obviously struggling artists as well, but like even like like young kids who are like just starting out on the SoundCloud scene, and they see like this link in the bio that says, "Oh, get your song reviewed by Elevator, possibly," and like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
like
oh
they get burned early. It's like,
yeah,
you know,
like
it's
waste
messed
mom's
up.
credit card, like,
Exactly.
and it's like, all right, it's like, what's I don't know. It's obviously not sending a good message to the kid. Like they're just making money. It's like, is the write up really that good? Like it's one
Yeah,
of 100 that they've posted in the past week. Like, it,
exactly.
yeah, it's kind of predatory. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. I always saw, and I made the mistake of like doing that in my early days.
Oh yeah, I think
Think
we all have.
yeah, it's just like falling for that trap of like a or people playing for playlisty spots. It's just like you don't got to do that.
No.
I feel like if you really truly care, you pick out that song because you genuinely like that artist, that song, and what they're doing in that song, not just for
Yeah.
you trying to make a fucking payday. I just think that's it's evil to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I see, and people ask me like, why isn't the same thing with features? Like, because I feel like for features, it's like you supporting another artist. It's like you're in the, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's you paying for a feature that's helping that artist out. You don't know if you just got them gas money, you're just able to help them pay the
Yeah.
bills. Like, it just gave you, promotion. Like, hey, I did a song with this artist. And
Yeah.
it's a trade off. But like with publications, it's like oh, you have a cosign by this blog. What's that going to do for you?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, like, really, like, I think, obviously, with the goal with a lot of these artists that are on SoundCloud and like trying to, the features that you're paying for with these artists, a lot of these guys are trying to make a living off SoundCloud, whether that's directly off streams or trying to like, just make money off features and things like that.
features,
Like these people are
reposts,
trying
yeah,
to make
stuff like
money.
that. Exactly. Trying to
Yeah.
bills, gas money. Maybe they're trying to help a family member out that falling through bad times. It's
Yeah.
just yeah, exactly.
No, it's definitely like I don't know. It's definitely predatory, and I agree. I definitely fell into that trap at one point, and paid for submissions, and never gonna do that again because it's like we were
Yeah,
just saying. It's just like you're one of 100 kids that paid for it. So what's the point?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. What else was I going to ask you? Um. I guess I'm kind of like near the end of my list. I guess I have one more question for you that's like really kind of pressing, I guess. Please excuse me if I'm overstepping my bounds a little bit. I know that you've kind of tweeted about the way you feel, mental illness, depression, things like that.
Right.
Do you have any advice for someone who's kind of going through that things? Because I wouldn't consider myself going through that kind of thing, but I have had days where I'm just like not feeling it, like not sick, but just like not feeling this at all. It's like not wanting to see
Like not
anybody.
feeling, yeah, just not feeling like waking up, get out of bed.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, do you have any advice for someone like that or who's
I
going through
think
that?
I think the best thing to do is just take things very slowly, very day by day. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's important to do something like expressing yourself. Like, was it through music, painting? I don't, whatever it is that makes you happy. I feel like it's important to do something like that to try and get yourself, your self esteem back up. Because I feel like with music, I can wake up and have the shittiest day ever,
Mm-hmm.
but I can end the night off by recording a song I really like, and I'll feel, the best I ever felt in my entire life. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's music kind of like it fills whatever void I'm missing in life. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I'll wake up not wanting to get out of bed for like another hour, just kind of just laying there. And
Yeah.
I'll have an idea like, whoa, let me seek this out. It's like an adventure,
Yeah.
with something that you truly love. So I feel like seeing people like that's going through those problems, but they're still like trying to express themselves, whether it's through graphic art or playing video games, or fucking making songs,
Yeah.
building computers, whatever it is. I feel like it's important to just to seek out something that makes you feel like you're alive and like makes you feel like you're you know that something loves you back.
Yeah.
So like it's important just to like just try and seek that out. I feel like once you seek that out, I think you'll be fine, and
Yeah.
like you have your bad days, but you always have something to go back on and try and express yourself and what you're feeling and put whatever you feel into what you're doing. So I struggle with that, and but music is a big venting place for me where I'm able to just kick back, relax, and just make what I want to make and put what I feel into, the songs and the lyrics. And I think it's like I have a journal. I always suggest this to friends whenever like they're asking me, like, they have a lot of thoughts thinking in their mind, stuff like that. I have a journal. I literally write anything I'm thinking of, words, sentences, anything. I just write it down and just put it away. I think that's one thing that helps me a lot to like express certain things. So I think that's my best advice. I don't know if it's good or
Yeah.
not,
No, I mean,
but
I definitely, I don't think there's any one thing that applies to one person that can fix everything. Or no, there's no one thing that applies to everybody. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Everyone has different things that kind of keep them going at the end of the day. So I definitely
yeah.
appreciate
It's just
that.
like anything that makes you feel like you're, you know, that just like you feel like you're expressing yourself truly. I feel like if you're feeling like that, just keep trying to like, you know, work out all your demons into that thing that
Yeah.
makes you feel like you're human, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Vision, buddy, I appreciate you coming on here today. Like I said, I've been following you for a minute. Been a fan for a while, saw you on Twitter for a while. I appreciate you taking the time to come in here, talk to me, kind of give me a little insight on what you're doing, what your life is like. Give us an idea of what you got coming up here. I know you're working on the project. Tell us when you think that might be done, things like that.
It's gonna be probably done by I want to say mid-October, maybe even earlier if all ass or something like that. But
Yeah.
something really cool, something really special. I
Yeah.
think I think they're gonna like it. I think people are gonna like it. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think you're gonna like it. All I can say right now is it's gonna be really crazy. It's gonna be a crazy ride.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sir, I appreciate you coming on. You
Appreciate
got
you,
you
man.
got me on Discord. You ever want to play some CS:GO, play some COD, whatever it is, hit me up. Let me
Oh
know.
yeah,
Maybe I'll have you
sure.
on in a couple months to talk about the album a little bit more.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right, I appreciate you coming on, man. I really have enjoyed this talk. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, dude. This
Yeah,
was really fun.
yeah, awesome. I'm glad to hear. Have a good night, man.
You too, dude.
Yeah, bye.
All right, see you.
Wow. Amazing conversation. Thank you to everyone who stayed on and taught and hung in there, hung out for a little bit. I really appreciate all you guys. I have to piss. I really, 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 really have to piss. I wanted to make that interview last as long as I could, and I feel like I did. So thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for tuning in. Everyone go follow at Vision4k. You can see his name in the title. Hell of a guy. Great guy. I've been following him for a minute. Funny, talented, all that good stuff. Go follow the man. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I might be doing a Minecraft stream in a little bit. So if you want to tune in for that, tune in for that. But yeah, thank all you guys for coming in and tuning in and watching. Yeah. Have a good night. Bye.